Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My respectful audience, dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a believer to other believers is like head to the body, suffering from their pains, just as the head suffers from the pains of the body. Today, as we sit in the comfort of our homes, with no second thought given to basic necessities such as food, electricity, clean water, medical supplies, people just like you and I, families, siblings, parents, are suffering at a level that the human brain many a times cannot even fathom. The proportion and magnitude of brutality and barbaric atrocities that our ummah is facing is incomparable to anything else. Brothers and sisters, it was more than 4 decades ago, after an Israeli raid in Lebanon, that Imam Khomeini rahmatullahi alayhi designated the last Friday of Ramadan as the day of al-Quds, the day when the oppressed stand up to their oppressors, the day we renew our support for our Palestinian brothers and sisters against the savage hegemony of the Zionist regime, the day to unite in solidarity against all the tyrants of the world. The gravity of the crimes taking place, the murders, the destruction of homes, the genocide, the brutality, our conscience should not allow us to sit still and accept it. We cannot choose to remain at rest and silent when a part of us is suffering with wounds so deep, causing generations after generations to be destroyed. As we focus our attention on the coronavirus and track every single global victim, we should not forget to also reflect on who is responsible for the hundreds and thousands of murders, imprisonments, and disappearances in countries where wars have been waged by the US and Europe. Who is responsible for the bloodshed in Yemen, in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Iraq? Who is responsible for the occupation and the oppression in Palestine? Is no one keeping track of the number of millions of Muslim children who have been robbed of their childhood, left homeless, left as orphans? My brothers and sisters, this is the state of the oppressive powers and dependent global organizations who feel no shame, who feel no disgrace in following them. I call out especially to our youth to pay attention. Pay attention to the Zionist tactics, the policies, the agendas diverting our attention to the immoralities of this world, taking us away from Allah, taking us away from the Ahlibayt alayhi salam and their divine teachings. Our fight for al-Quds is deeply intertwined with our belief in La ilaha illallah, the belief in pure, unadulterated monotheism. The very essence of our faith is to reject all false gods, to denounce and deny allegiance to all pharaohs, kings, and tyrants, and to accept and obey the one true God and align ourselves with His representatives on earth. Many times, people of power and influence within our very own Islamic communities are dismissive when it comes to the social and political responsibilities of Islam. When you talk to them about al-Quds, Palestine, Kashmir, or Yemen, for example, they annoyingly respond with, please, let's not talk about politics here, or there's no discussing politics at Sunday school. What sort of Islam is this? This, my brothers and sisters, is the brand of Islam which is packaged in the capitals of the West, funded by bin Salman, and endorsed by Benjamin Netanyahu. A watered-down version of Islam which happily recites Fatiha for Prince Philip but hesitates to speak out against Zionism, against occupation. I say to such people, would you have told the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam not to engage in politics when he wrote letters to the heads of states, established an Islamic government, and drafted the Charter of Medina? Would you have instructed Imam Ali alayhi salam to avoid taking up the caliphate of the Muslims, moving the capital to Kufa, and sending governors throughout the Islamic world? Or perhaps would you have advised Imam Hussein alayhi salam to pay allegiance to Yazid because Yazid was not preventing Imam from practicing Islam? Of course not. You will hear the same people claim, oh, how we wish we were with Imam Hussein in the Battle of Karbala. We would have sacrificed ourselves and our families in order to defend Imam and support his mission. But why? Was Imam's refusal to pay allegiance to the Caliph Yazid not a political move? Weren't these all political moves and strategies? The same politics you speak of so indifferently? This non-political Islam is what allowed the sheikdoms and their stooges, the rulers of the UAE, Sudan, Morocco, and Bahrain, to have the audacity to recognize Israel and establish diplomatic relations and betray al-Quds and the Palestinian people. If the Holy Prophet and Imams were here today, would they have turned a blind eye towards the occupation of al-Quds and the persecution of the Palestinians? Undoubtedly, one of their biggest concerns would be the apartheid state of Israel and its allies, who are constantly conspiring against Islam from right within the heart of the Muslim world. Today is not just a day of Palestine. It is the day of Islam, the day of all oppressed globally. Are our massacres, oppression, desecration, and blood so valueless? Today, the heart of our beloved Imam Mahdi alayhi salam bleeds when he sees the state of this ummah. Our Imam is not a myth or a fairy tale. He is described as the sun behind the clouds, radiating his energy to the world without being visible. He is actively striving in the path of Allah. Our countless sins make us unworthy of seeing him, so he doesn't make himself known to us. But we must have the ma'rifah of our Imam. What actions of ours will support his mission and hasten his reappearance? What are our responsibilities towards him? Dear brothers and sisters, surely he is against the illegal occupation of al-Quds and an ally of all of the oppressed nations of the world. It is our responsibility to remain vigilant and understand and oppose the sinister schemes of the enemies of Islam. We must align ourselves with the oppressed people of the world, against the oppressors. If we desire to be counted among Imam Mahdi's servants when he appears, We must strive to join the ranks of His servants now. Brothers and sisters, our Islam must be political, and our politics must be Islamic. I would like to send my du'as and greetings to the soul of the great Imam Khomeini rahmatullahi alayhi for opening our eyes and bringing to surface the Islamic awakening, and all those who have fallen in the path of Allah. May Allah make us among those who help our religion and bless us with the ma'rifah to stand up with our Imam when the time comes. May Allah hasten the reappearance of our beloved Imam Mahdi, Ajalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.